Ok, excelente. Entonces, we learned that we can plan individual lessons. What we have been doing is planning just one lesson, but it's not normally the way we plan. Normally we plan per week or per month. I know that some of you deliver at the very beginning like a plan or dosification in case to set like the general goals for them for this semester or period. Ahora, I have a question for the teachers who work with English Aware. You have the cartas descriptivas. How do you use those letters? There are no teachers that use English Aware? No?
I do not use it.
And how do you use those cartas descriptivas?
No, I do not use it. Sorry.
No, you don't use it.
No, I do not.
Okay. Well, and probably later I can find someone. A ver, aquí tengo a alguien. Espérenme, porque no tengo que salir de aquí. Ahora sí. A ver, let me read. Es que I can't read. I don't know why I can't read the chat, me neither. Okay. Bueno, pues probably later you can explain to me how you use those letters and give me some tips in order to improve them, to propose something and make it more useful and probably to help you to visualize or identify all the elements we are identifying in a lesson plan. Probably include them in those letters. Okay. All right. So today we are going to identify the advantages of a scheme of work, evaluate the schemes of work, and consolidate all the lexis and the concepts we have analyzed previously related to planning. Okay? So today we are going to analyze this series of lesson plans to be covered in a series or in a specific period of time. Last week we saw how to plan just one lesson. Now we are going to divide this unit or this module in different sessions. So all the sessions are in sequence, and they get into a final result, at the end of that period of time. Okay. So please share with me what would be the advantage of planning by month or by week or by module or unit. I mean, not individual lessons, but a bunch or a series of lessons. What will be the advantage?
Class organization and time.
Exactly. Class organization and time. What else?
I think that it would be we would be aware of the sequence of the knowledge So for example, if they need to learn maybe how to express past actions, so before that we have activities for them to know or to learn about the verbs or to practice verbs.
Okay. And what about the development of skills? Do you think can be easier? Because we mainly work and we are mainly worried about the grammar. But what about the development of the other skills? Do you consider that would be easier to focus like more clear, yes, more specific and clearer goals?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so that is the advantage of planning in blocks, in big blocks, because as I told you, you need to set the goal. You start from the very end, and then you start setting short goals, or short steps in order to achieve this goal. But at the beginning, I need to know where I'm going to take my students. Okay, very good. So organization in time and topics, no? As the Miss said, no? You say, pues I'm going to teach past. First, I'm going to introduce the verbs, then the structure, and probably the time expressions, and then they are going to practice it. And also in here, I can set goals for for skills. So I know what day I'm going to give the input, when I'm going to give the practice, and when they are going to start planning the output. And for me, it's also easy to organize the sequence of activities and methods, no? Probably in this case, would be easier to identify the different methods and approaches I can use throughout the unit, okay? Very good. So now, in here I'm going to show you a scheme of work. For example, I have it for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. If you observe the last week, well, I'm going to have the formal evaluation, which is the summative or the test, okay? In here is going to be a speaking test. Always my recommendation is, personally, I have found this method very useful, to plan from the very end to the beginning. So checking your book, what is the final result, and start leafing over your book backwards. So you can see the process that your students will need to go through. Okay, entonces the final evaluation is going to be a speaking activity, which is going to be a role play, where they are going to be tested on the accuracy and the group work. That is the interaction. Remember that we analyze that interaction and accuracy are two sub-skills. Entonces, from the very beginning, I know that I need to reinforce and work on these two sub-skills. They need to have plenty of practice, so at the end it's going to be very natural and very easy for them, okay? Luego, the previous week, on week 5, they are going to have a reading and a writing. If you observe, you have the input and you have the output. For the test, you have a productive skill. In here, well, I'm going to have a quick revision, the listening. They are going to be listening for specific information, and then they are going to have an individual writing exercise, okay? Then, this can also be part of the final evaluation. Probably they start planning their piece of writing for be evaluated on week 5, and on week 6, that is the week for evaluations, pues they hand in this piece of writing, okay? The previous week, on week number 4, they have the input skill, the output skill, input productive skill. They are going to check vocabulary. They are going to have a reading, and they are going to have a speaking, okay? In this case, they are going to work on fluency. Do you think that they are going to need fluency when having a role play? Well, yes, because maybe they are not going to read it anymore. Even I don't know the level of the students. But if I know that at the very end, the test is going to be a role play, well, I also need to work at least 2 or 3 sub-skills in order to have a complete rubric. So they are going to, and also if I want to push them, because normally the students, what we do is to prepare our speaking with a piece of paper and we just read. What I want them to do is to gain self-confidence when they are speaking. So they just prepare their lines, but I can tell them that they shouldn't pass in front with a paper in case to prepare their answers, to rehearse. So the fluency is there. They gain security at the moment of speaking. And the previous work, they work with grammar, which is, I think that is reported speech. But they started with past tenses. I guess that is reported speech in present and past, I think, because I don't know exactly what tenses they are using for this. So I deduce that is present and past. So vocabulary, about the free time activities and practice. The practice is from the course book, based on the vocabulary and based on the grammar. Entonces I know that this sequence will be consolidated in speaking. Ahora, I have a big question. If my final test is speaking, do you consider that I'm not evaluating grammar, listening, and reading? Or I can evaluate all these elements in just one activity, in a speaking activity? Could it be possible?
I think it would be, however, it would be hard to evaluate because we need a big rubric for that, I think.
Okay, you think that is difficult. Okay. Do we have another idea?
And I'm sorry, but we don't do like that in the school. It's only vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. That's what we
Okay.
evaluate for speaking.
Okay. Okay. Remember that I have been suggesting you that you need to observe constantly your students. Although the rest of the activities are considered as practice, we can also evaluate those practice activities. For example, if they are going to read here, I need to identify what sub-skills are going to be developed, and I can evaluate those skills. I don't really need a reading exam. The objective is to lower the workload we have in this period, so we can be evaluating little by little, class by class, and at the end you have a big number of grades. You can make the average and finally give a result to your students. My suggestion is that, no, yeah, it's because it has worked for me. For me, it's easier to be evaluating every single class than having loads of readings, loads of writings, loads of grammar, loads of listening exams at the very end. And also, for me, it's fair for the students to evaluate them during all the classes and not judge or evaluate a period of time just with one paper. This is my piece of advice. Entonces, in here I can start. Bueno, grammar is always going to be present, no? And I can evaluate in the grammar and vocabulary in the speaking and the writing. Actually, they are sub-skills that are present or integrated in these two skills. I have listening activities. Here I have listening and I have another listening. I don't know why in here in the book they didn't mention listening, but at least they have two activities. And grammar, well, no, constantly, no? And the final result is speaking, but it's supposed that in every single class they are practicing speaking. So I need to be observing and see the process and the progress. Remember, the most important thing is not the result, are the steps you follow in order to achieve that goal. Okay? So remember, there are no good or bad ideas. There are no good or bad methods. It's what is best for you and your students. But my recommendation is that to take into account the everyday effort rather than just an exam. Okay? So this is an example of a scheme of work. Begin from the very end and see backwards what are the processes, what are the elements when you are going to that you need to follow in order to achieve this goal. Is, for example, I want to prepare a cake. Pues I saw the cake in the magazine. I know that I want to prepare that cake. That is my objective. And based on this, what do? We check the list of ingredients. We go backwards and said, pues I need this, and that. in order to achieve this. But first I make my decision based on the photo of the cake. O se me antojan unas enchiladas. But you see the final result, Based on the final result, you decide si las quieres de pollo, de carne, de vegetarianas or whatever. Okay? All right. For example, in this case, what level might the learners be? A ver, observe. Are they basic, intermediate, advanced? Because look here, they have a discussion of advantages and disadvantages of living in the city. Then they revise and extend vocabulary, so it's supposed that they already have experience. Then focus on the comparative and superlative adjectives and adverbs practice exercise. Entonces, pues they are comparing and contrasting. Then in the following week, they have reading personal stories. The students order sections of the text. So they have the unscramble exercise, the text, and they need to read, focus on cohesion and coherence, linking words and sequences. So they are reading for specific information. Focus on the text organization, writing students' own stories, peer correction where students correct one another. Luego, fíjense, here we have a writing and it's not mentioned here. Luego, listening, song, group, transcription. O sea, they listen and they write what they hear. That is a good exercise too for listening. Grammar game, snakes and ladders to revise work on comparatives and superlatives. And pronunciation practice, focus on ah. Luego, in the test, review of grammar and topic. Group work producing sections of tourist brochure for a student's town. So what do you think is basic, intermediate, or advanced? Think about your students.
I would say this is intermediate.
Okay, very good. Because they already know comparatives and superlatives,
Yes.
adverbs, probably adverbs of degree, no? Very quiet, little, etc.
Yes.
Then they have this capacity of listening, recognizing words, and writing. They are analyzing phonemics, symbols. And they are analyzing or they are working with reported speech. So probably yes, they are intermediate. Fíjense, which teaching approach does the lesson represent? ¿Qué será? TPR, PPP, task-based learning, guided discovery. Begin analyzing from the first session to the last session. Esta no cuenta because it's the test. So I have divided the sequence of activities into 3. Is test, teach, test. Because I can also divide the methods not in one session. I can divide the steps in different weeks. For example, would be presentation, practice, and production. Because here in the presentation, what is the main topic is a tourist brochure for a student's town. And in here, they begin with the discussion of advantages and disadvantages of living in the city. Probably if they live in a small city, like for example, I live in Corregidora, Querétaro. It's not as big as Mexico City. I was born in Mexico City. So there are advantages and disadvantages in both places. In here, what I'm going to do is to revise and extend vocabulary. Extend vocabulary means that I'm going to give more vocabulary to talk about this topic. Can be adjectives, names of shops, or I don't know, everything related to comparing and contrasting cities. And then focus on comparatives and superlatives, adjectives and adverbs, practice exercise. Entonces, apart from the characteristics that are adjectives, I'm grading those adjectives and qualifying those adjectives by using adverbs of degree. Entonces, I'm presenting all this vocabulary. And these activities, I have 1, 2, 3 activities. If I only have 3 classes a week, probably I can focus this activity in the first day, second day, and third day. So I have set the basis for the following activity. Then in the following is practice. They are going to read. They are going to develop specific reading subskills. Based on this, they are going to write. And then they are going to correct. Okay? Yo creo que aquí es reading and writing here y listening and speaking here. Yo creo que aquí hubo un mistake. Luego, in here is listening a song in the production. This is practice. If you realize, all these activities are practice. Here in the production, doing something, they listen and write. They play, in order to use comparatives, superlatives, and adverbs of degree. Obviously here, the personal stories can be a person that used to live in the city and then he moved to a smaller city or vice versa, okay? I'm deducing. Grammar revision and pronunciation revision. So in here they are just producing. Because in here to revise is to check that what they learned here and here is already there. And finally, I make my representation by using all these elements. So, do you agree that this is PPP? Presentation, practice, and production. Why not test each test? Because in here there is no a test. There is no remedial work, and in here there is no another test.
Yes,
See?
I was, Miss, sorry to interrupt you. So
Yes.
this means that I can work through a method during all my lesson, all my unit.
Yes.
So for example, maybe I'm using Word English. So maybe I can get the units that speak about grammar together to make like the presentation. And then I do the practice with listening and, I don't know, reading. And then the productive skill might be the reading and all the goal checks.
Ajá.
So,
Ajá.
so what you're trying to tell us is that I can compend all my content and divide it.
Into several sessions.
Yes, but as a como un hilo conductor. I don't know how to say that.
Exactly.
Yes, como un hilo
Muy bien.
conductor y entonces ir metiendo las cosas, pero que tengan como una sola línea el trabajo, ¿no? Como si fuera
Un
la...
proyecto, ajá. El resultado final, la evidencia de aprendizaje.
Ok, got it,
Yes.
got it.
Muy bien, Miss Stephanie, ya me hiciste el día. Súper bien. That's why I'm telling you, the first thing you need to plan is the result. Porque based on this, I'm going to plan the rest of the sequence of the sequence of activities. Acuérdense de las enchiladas. What do I need to do in order to prepare the enchiladas? I don't say, ay, bueno, voy a freír una tortilla a ver qué pasa. Y ya que tengo la tortilla ahí frita toda triste, digo, ay, pues, ¿qué le pondré? Ay, ¿qué pasa si le pongo atún? Y ahí empiezo a experimentar. Y yo lo que yo quería eran unas enchiladas suizas, pues no me va a salir. Necesito ver qué quiero. Unas enchiladas suizas. ¿Qué necesito? Tortilla, pollo, la salsa, la crema y el queso para obtener mi resultado final. Entonces, ¿cuál será la maravillosa palabra que dijo la Miss Stephanie, que el hilo conductor, ajá, o la espina, la columna vertebral de mi unidad? Entonces, that's why it's very important to check the book from the very end. What is the final product? Is it a speaking? Is it a writing? Uh-huh. What my students need to have or learn in order to achieve that speaking or that writing. And normally what we do is to plan the other way around. Primero, tengo tortillas. For example, when we don't know what to eat and you open the fridge and you see many, many things and you say, no, pues no tengo ni idea. And it's very confusing. The same. It's better to decide, quiero una sopita, pues what do I need? This, and that in order to get the soup. Okay? Yes? And as Miss Stephanie said, I can divide my method in different sections. For example, for the teachers who work with Nat Geo, also that is very important to analyze what methodology is using your book, because the way the book is presented, there is a specific sequence. For example, let's see. For example, in the English Aware, first you have the grammar, then the vocabulary. And normally at the end, you have the writing and the checklist, no? And you have either a writing or a speaking, no? And then you have the listening and the reading, or you can have the reading and the listening. But always, always, always the last the last activity or the productive activity is going to be a speaking or a writing. In this case, for example, and the units are very, very short. But in this case, we have the vocabulary, grammar, input and output. More practice, input. That would be like the presentation, because I don't know, no sé de qué se trate. Pero maybe if they are going to get this information, they are making questions and answers. Okay? Then the presentation is about the intonation and the production is on speaking. In here, you have the introduction, which is the description of places, should, practice, es más, aquí dice practice, and production, that is piece of writing because he's making notes. Luego tienen un reading, un pre-reading. Which activities do you like to do? Pre-reading, while reading, post-reading. That is writing. What do you think? Writing and a description. And here you have the text. Aquí tienen. Warmer o living. Six tourists. Es un reading y un output writing. They practice, pues es practice the conjunctions. Más bien en lugar de writing yo le hubiera puesto aquí grammar. Y ya, finally in here, the production is the writing. And this is the video. This is something extra. And what they need to do. Dice plan, fíjense, el producto final es un video about your country. Make notes about the video below and then share your ideas in the class. O sea, what they are, in other words, what they are going to do es un storyboard para un video. Entonces, a lo mejor I can introduce a storyboard to make the compositions. First, then, and last with a graphic organizer. Okay. Entonces, and in here, if you realize, the video is about, dice, answer the questions about your country. What different types of land uses are in your country? Cities, forests, etc. What is similar about the land in the UK and your country? What is different? Do you think people should use, aquí tienen should, use land in different ways? Why? And you have plan a 100-second video, que es de 1 minuto 40, about your country. Make notes about the video below, then share your ideas. Ok. Aquí, por ejemplo, bueno, es que a mí me gusta todo eso. Yo les diría, pues para hacer el video, pues la música, el background, para convey la emotion o no sé, como give more technical information about making the video. O sea, that's extra, ¿no? Pero in here they are going to describe their country. And I think that in the previous lessons, they were doing that. Probably here the topic or the context is a little bit difficult. Y creo que este video lo tienen en la plataforma, ¿no? Entonces, that would be a very good, probably apart from just watching the video, they can make notes. You can have a listening activity. You can have a speaking activity. And then they do this. So you are grouping all the skills that you need to evaluate at the very end. So that is the purpose of a project. Probably in here you can use, in this part, TBL, task-based learning. You recover what students know. You explain the characteristics of the task they need to develop. You give them time, and then they present. In there you can, as in this case, end up with a test that is a speaking or a oral presentation. If you analyze this, pues you need all the information you presented before, but you are going to be directing towards this consolidation. Okay? Yes, as Mrs. Stephanie said, that is the way it works. Okay? Probably in English aware is easier because the unit is shorter. And in here, yes, they are also using PPP, presentation. This is the leading. Presentation, practice, production. Presentation, presentation, practice, 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 production. Presentation, presentation, practice, practice, oral practice, production. Yes? Questions about identifying the methods, the steps? Now you saw the advantages, no? Of using this kind of planning. So you can have a general panorama, and we avoid this sidetracking because we know exactly where we are going. Okay? Now the following questions. What kind of knowledge would you assume learners need to have this lesson? Bueno, because they are intermediate, pues at least I assume they know simple tenses, they have some vocabulary. To make my assumptions, what I can do, vean, si yo ya les di todo. To make my assumptions, I can go to my can-dos. ¿Dónde están los can-dos? Y el chart de grammar, ¿no? Les di un chart de grammar where you can see, aquí está. You have all the grammar and you have the table of contents. So in here, more or less, you can know what grammar, what possible grammar they should know according to the level. Even when the sequence of integers is to be PPP. Yes, for example, in the last one, you can use TBL.
Or maybe I can combine them, right? For example, if I am teaching future will for predictions, but they already know how to use will for promises and I don't know, future in general. So I put, I can use test, teach, test,
Uh-huh.
even if I should present it as a book test.
Exactly, exactly. If they tell you, for example, in here, no sé, es que este es basic one, ¿no? O sea, you cannot use this, test, teach, test, ¿no? But as you said, pues me toca going to para futuro, pues les hago un test de will o de verb to be, is, o present continuous for future, les hago un test de present continuous y ya, then I add the information. I can use that, but remember that the students need to have previous knowledge. Guided discovery. I can also use guided discovery in here. This is very simple. Should, shouldn't, in order to find the form. If you want them to find the use, pues sí está cañón. Pero the form is very simple. In the last example we made by using this book, we used TPR. Not necessarily the methods are for presenting. I can have test, teach, test as part of revision, as practice. Por ejemplo, aquí, I made my presentation here, no? Here they have the practice. I can have this one as a test. No, esto no. Vamos a hacer mira. I made my presentation of intonation, ¿no? I use the listening y les digo lo del raising falling y luego aquí test. The students practice, ¿no? And they start making questions, giving answers, etc., etc. I'm observing. I'm testing. If I catch that something is not correct, I teach again and then I test. Y aquí lo puedo hacer, work with a new partner and ask and answer the questions about your previous partner using the information in E. Entonces es another test. ¿Ya vieron? And I'm not presenting anything. I'm just checking, reinforcing, and checking again. Es para ver si ya quedó. But in here, facilito, test, teach, test. And I can have presentation, practice, and in the production, I can switch test, teach as a feedback, and test again. But first, I think that we need to identify así como que very, very well. That's why I asked you to choose one method and spot the steps. If you know exactly how to use each method, you are going to know how to combine them. Questions, comments, no? A ver acá. Luego, the following question. What do you think the aims of the lesson are? What would be the main aim? check your final result. Let's write it. No puedo decir by the end of the lesson. By the end of the period, or the month, of the lesson, of the unit, vamos a ponerle of the unit, comma, students may be able to what do here? Producing sections of tourist brochure for students town. They are going to make a brochure. But I need to include all the activities. What is the grammar? Vamos a poner el grammar son comparatives, superlatives, adjectives. Luego vimos que adverbs, adverbs. Luego tengo reading for specific information, reading. Luego también listening for specific information. ¿Qué más? Writing, pues they are going to write a story. Bueno, in here the writing of the story is because they are going to compare and contrast by using comparatives and superlatives. Entonces, how can I summarize this? And they need to make a brochure. Make a brochure about their country. Their country or their city. Más fácil. Entonces, yo diría, by the end of this unit, the students may be able to speaking. Speaking. May be able to describe their city by using comparatives, superlatives, and adverbs orally, in oral and writing orally and in oral and written forms. A brochure they may be able to make a brochure describing the city to invite others to visit visit it by highlighting ¿qué? No, pues ya. Ahí está. ¿Para qué me hago más bolas? ¿Ok? Ahí está. This is my main aim. But I need to analyze all the activities they are doing. And if you realize from the very beginning to the end, all the activities are directed to the description of this place. Now, the following question. What might be the timetable fit? Before this, what do you think the students saw in the previous session or in the previous unit?
Maybe comparatives and superlatives.
Exactly, because in here, pues ya es como un practice, ¿no? Okay, comparatives and superlatives. Y past simple, ¿no? Past and present, ¿no? My country, por ejemplo, Mexico City was a small city, or it was cleaner or less polluted than it is now. Now Mexico City is really polluted, or is more polluted than in the past. Okay, very good. Luego, what might the teacher write as the anticipated problems for this reason? You have the comparatives and superlatives. What would be the possible problems and solutions you find in this series of activities?
Maybe that some students are faster than others and they learn quicker and others are slower.
Okay, so I would need to make this scaffolding, no?
Yes.
Okay, very good. What about when, although you have taught big, bigger, clear, clear, que huge no tiene comparative, que enormous there's no comparative, que you have more polluted, and they say polluted, the pollutest. If you find that, because in here is revision, entonces aquí que podría yo preparar. A ver, Miss Stephanie, usted que ya es experta.
No entendí la pregunta, perdón.
If here my activity is revise, and we know that as timetable fit, they saw comparatives and superlatives the last unit, what method I can use here? In order to check, a ver si es cierto.
I would use TTT, so maybe I can do like a game. I would do like a game and to see if they remember.
Exactly. I test, I check if they know. I teach, Teach no necesariamente means that you are going to introduce something new. In this case, test would be, remember the video said feedback. So I provide the feedback I fix what is not okay, and I test again. Excellent. Entonces, this session can be TTT. Or if I feel more comfortable, or if I, according to my students and with the characteristics, I think that they need presentation, practice, and production, I'm going to use that. Maybe guided discovery with comparatives and superlatives would be a little bit difficult, no? It's difficult because you have a lot of exceptions. Comparatives and superlatives is not an easy topic. Entonces, as you can see, you can, and you say como un game. Excelente. You have 3 days, for example, a week. This is only a week. Entonces, one day I can give the test. The following day I give the teach. And the last day, como un quiz, I give them the test. In here, for example, because it's a reading, yo hago un pre-reading, un while reading y un post-reading, que in this case es un writing. Entonces, the pre-reading, pues las personal stories, y que sí, que no, que mi historia, a ver quién es de aquí, quién es de allá, y que comparatives, y I rescue, in this discussion, I rescue the knowledge from the previous class. I have the pre, I have the while, and I have the post, self-correction, peer evaluation by having the rubric. Luego, in here, pre-listening, pre-listening, while listening, post-listening, ¿no? Aquí tengo una. In one class. Esta también podría ser TTT. Test with the game, teach, feedback, and test again, probably by practicing or paying attention on the pronunciation. Obviously, taking into account this, not only this one. And then you have the test. In this case, can be TBL. One day, you elicit information about the brochure, how the brochures are made. You ask them to bring brochures. What are the characteristics, either physically and in information. You set the context. You tell them, you are going to work, or you are going to represent the school in the local secretary of tourism, and we are going to promote corregidora, no, in this example. Entonces, spot the most important information, the most attractive information in order to call the attention of visitors. Let's make the brochure. Actually, my daughter made one. And you have the brochure with the pictures and everything. So can be TBL. And in here, I'm giving a series of activities, different activities. I'm changing the pace. I'm changing the methods. And it's not always pan con lo mismo. But as Miss Stephanie said, we have the spine, we have the column, we have the axe. Do you remember? We mentioned that the last week. We have the axe. And based on this, I'm going to continue my lesson so I avoid sidetracking, no? Okay. Questions about the lessons? Clear? Not clear? More or less?
Everything okay, thanks.
Yes? Okay, excellent. Ahora, we are going to analyze different examples. Ay, espere. Es que I need to enlarge it. This is another series of lessons, but I only have 2 sessions a week. I have week 1, I have week 2, and the half of the following week, okay? Entonces, another way to make my lesson plan in this way is setting the aim. And here my aim is to describe age and appearance, and the context is the family and friends, okay? Because if they are going to present and describe family and friends, luego tengo school, luego tengo hobbies, and likes and dislikes, what level do you think it is?
Basic.
Ajá. Vamos a checar. Animals, the body, family and friends, bla, 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 bla. No, a ver, vamos a ver. Animals, the body, family and friends, present continuous. Okay. I don't know if, yes, debes de haber likes and dislikes. Ajá, entonces yo creo que es between A1, A1 plus. Ajá. These are some of the abilities. These are for children. But you can take as a guide the grammar and the vocabulary. These outcomes are for children. And I can go and check my A1. Can understand. Filling a questionnaire, greeting, postcard, phrases myself, for example, where, live, what, do. Okay. All right, so can be A1, A2. Entonces it's very, very basic, very, very simple. Okay. Luego, a ver, vamos a ver. Poster with leisure time activities, likes and dislikes of the class. Entonces, in here I have this one. Talk about interest, free time activities, vocabulary, sports, hobbies, and interest. Because at the end they are going to make posters using this vocabulary. Luego, likes and dislikes. To present this, I'm going to use the context of the school. They need to talk about likes and dislikes because they are going to use it for their poster. Luego, they are going to describe the family and friends, okay, describing age and appearance, okay. Let's find why, okay. Entonces you have on the first class, the last class, we are going to make a poster. Talk about likes and dislikes of class. Previous language, they are going to develop speaking, listening, reading, and writing. They are going to discuss design of poster, make questions, writing information, reading and editing, and language review. Luego tenemos as above, pues can talk about interest, free time, activities, etc. Sports, hobbies, interests. Luego tenemos review Tuesdays, o sea, this revision. Like, don't like, etc., etc., speaking and listening. In here, in pronunciation is stress, intonation, positive and negative, o sea, intonation positive and negative, and info gap. Okay? In here, guess whose partner's profile. Match, listening, watch, listen to leisure time descriptions, fill in the grid. Grammar, gap fills, choose the correct answer, listening, speaking and writing, recycling, like, okay. Luego, school subjects, routines, likes and dislikes. In here, okay, likes and dislikes. For homework, they are going to read, identify keyword, personal profiles. Okay. My school, listening to description, find someone who, describe member family. Okay, I guess that in here, or I infer that they are using family and friends as contextualization for presenting likes and dislikes. My mother is no sé qué, no sé cuánto, and she likes this and this and that. Obviously, this lesson is for children. I deduce that they introduce the unit or the book like this. First, you talk about your family and friends, describe them physically, but also when you describe a person, you also describe their likes and dislikes. That is the logical sequence I can find. Okay? But at the end, they are going to make a poster based on their likes and dislikes. Entonces, we are going to take the 10 minutes break. And then we are going to continue analyzing this. And we are going to do a similar exercise by spotting this information. And then by using the lesson plans we made previously, we are going to try to divide it in several sessions so we can make a scheme of work. Okay? Entonces, we are going to take 10 minutes, 10:31. We are going to continue analyzing this, and then we are going to have the practice section. Okay? So I'll see you in 10 minutes. Ya, ahora sí. Present simple, likes and dislikes. School lexis, revision of present simple for routines, good and bad, likes and dislikes. They have a reading, a speaking, a writing, and peer correction. The peer correction occurs when they are comparing and contrasting the homework. They are reading and identifying key info personal profile. And the topic is my school text from teenage reading materials course book page 33. Write about your partner using the info from the speaking activity. So they are going to complete. In this case, they started by writing or describing the best friend. And now they are going to add information about the partner or the friend. Talking about likes and dislikes related to school subjects or school places. Next class or next week, they are going to talk about interest and free time activities. The vocabulary is about sports, hobbies, and interest. They are going to recycle or extend of lexis for sports and leisure. So they already have a previous knowledge. Like, don't like, enjoy plus ing and modifiers very and really. I like dancing music very much. I don't really like the, no sé, physical education class. In here, the activities or the skills are listening, speaking, and writing, they are going to guess who by using partner's profile, the one that they have been doing previously. Watch and listen to leisure time descriptions, fill in the grid. A grammar gap fills, choose correct answer. The material DVD from the materials bank, course book, page 36, and grammar games. In this case, the final product is a grammar gap filling. That is like a reading and writing, no? And grammar. In here, they are going to make a revision by using the activities from the previous class. Vocabulary, match, pronunciation, mark, stress, intonation, positive and negative that they were working. I don't know if they worked with that previously or I'm confusing with the other lesson plan. Course book 38, take from pronunciation materials. And the homework is, or the production is the crossword, hobbies, and gap filling. Finally, they are going to make a poster talking about likes and dislikes by using vocabulary or leisure activities, probably done after or in the school. Review and recite previous knowledge about like, don't like, enjoy by using very and really. These subjects, school subjects, routines, etc. And discuss design of a poster, making questions, writing, information, reading, and editing. Here is the writing process. And language review. In here, they are reviewing or they are putting into practice all the grammar and the vocabulary they learned during these 2 weeks. Okay? Probably in here, the information is very limited, very direct. In here, for example, I don't have the description of the activities. Very, very well established. In here, I don't have the outcomes per activity. Here I have some of the activities, but I don't have exactly the subsidiary aims, and I don't have a general aim. I can deduce because of the last product, but in here, for me, or the first thing that así como que calls my attention is why you are starting by describing physical appearance and then describing likes and dislikes. The logical reason I can find is because when you describe someone, you describe the physical appearance and the likes and dislikes, but could be another one, okay? So if you find this kind of things that don't really match, pues you can even, no sé, omit or try to use it in another unit. Remember that we shouldn't, bueno, not necessarily we need to follow the sequence of the books, no? Bueno, that's my point of view. If it doesn't really fit to my final objective, pues I can change it or I can use it as a revision, no? As something extra. So I can take advantage of this day to give more practice, because normally this like, don't like, etc. They need more practice. And I think that the period, I don't know the length of the class, but if we are talking about 2 hours or 1 hour and a half, I think that the period of time is very limited. So that's why it's very important, and now you can see why is it important to be very, very clear and concise when we are writing and delivering a lesson plan. Because if someone else comes and I'm going to cover you these 2.5 weeks, pues I can see clearly the purpose. But I say, pues what is it for? Anyway, the teacher asked me like that, or I start making changes. And maybe in your mind you had a clear purpose for introducing the topic like this. Okay? Entonces vamos a ver. You have your lesson plan. Okay? In here, the instruction was this one, and the main aim was by the end of the following 2 sessions. In this case, we were planning 2 sessions. The students may be able to write a description of a different place, mentioning characteristics of the place, activities to be done outdoors, best time to visit, the traditional food, special and good places to recommend, grammar, conjunction, sentence convention, and that's it. So we have the lead-in, understanding the task, and the brainstorm. In how many lessons do you consider now, with having this scheme in your mind, do you consider that this can be done in 2 classes, or you probably may need more sessions?
It depends on how many hours we teach per class, right?
Exactly. Sí. Ay, ya Miss Stephanie no está. Okay. Yes, depending on the number of hours, and also the characteristics of the students, no? If we have, as the teacher was mentioning before, these students who work really, really fast and these students who work really, really slow, pues I would need to first also plan and have in my mind the way they are going to work and how I'm going to organize the team works, no? Probably the piece of writing is going to be in trios, and I can combine a low student with an intermediate student and an advanced student and give them very, very clear objectives per team, so they work towards the same objective. I'm not going to allow the students to work, for example, 2 low students together because they are not going to advance. But if I see that their attitude is, or if they are eager to help the others, pues I combine them in that way, ¿no? Entonces probably this brainstorm, because they need to investigate, probably in here I will spend, no sé, one session, depending on the time, also 1 session or 2. In understanding the task and preparing the vocabulary and the information. In here, planning and making the draft can be another session. In making the draft, in here, pues I'm observing. I'm evaluating interaction, pronunciation, writing, use of grammar, vocabulary, etc. In making the draft, probably can be another session, a session for exchanging, no sé, I'm inventing, y correcting can be, or in here, this one session for change and correct. So I have 1, 2, 3 or 4 sessions. But if I don't have enough time to dedicate 4 sessions in this activity, I can continue with my activities and have or separate 30 or 20 minutes towards doing this. So you know your students, you know the time, you know the resources, that talking about time and this eagerness from the students, so you can plan exactly. But in here the point is that I need to have the objective very clear, and based on that objective start planning backwards. Okay, for example, in here I have, pues this can be just a session because you have the pre-reading, the while reading and the post reading, and it's just copying sentences, and the reading was very, very short. It was a small paragraph. As we said, in one class I can introduce the grammar, another class talking about the English aware, one session the grammar, one session for vocabulary, another session for reading and listening, and another session for the production. That's why for me it's very important to know, especially the teachers who use English Aware, how you divide the lessons and the information and everything in order to improve the descriptive letters you receive and help you with that with that information. How do you use them? I have more teachers, so I don't know if you can tell me if you use English Aware, how do you use it? How do you dosify? Because I remember last week you told me that you need to cover one unit in one day, but how long is your class? No? Most of the time my class will last. Okay. And how many classes do you have? A week. 2 a week. Do you use English Aware, or what book do you use? Okay. And is that time enough for you? Okay. And for example, you said that is not enough for you. These 200 minutes a week. Do you need to cover in those 200 minutes one unit in a geo? Okay, how many units in your period? Entonces, do you consider that this method for planning the whole unit and give them a sequence would be useful for you? Or would it be easier for you to plan and set the objectives? Okay, very good. For example, excellent, very good. Not this one. I want to go back to this one. In here, I have what I'm going to do this week. Maybe in this week, I have, as you said, 2 classes, no? So the grammar 1 class with plenty of practice and production, and the vocabulary with the introduction, the practice, and the production, no? The presentation, the practice and production. And in here, I have enough time to introduce this. Luego, the second week, I have the development of these abilities, but in here I need to decide based on the sort of exercises what sub-skills I'm going to develop. Entonces, in here, in this lesson, I need to have a specific objective for listening. And for each stage, I need to have subsidiary aims. In here, I can have a main aim for this week because these 2 activities are linked. I'm going to have a main aim here, main aim, subsidiary aims. Main aim, subsidiary aims. Es que aquí está al revés. For example, a main aim for all of these, puedo hacerlo. Main aim, subsidiary, 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 que sería un sub-main aim. Y luego, one day I'm going to work with grammar. Este día tiene un main aim. And each activity is going to have a subsidiary aim. Entonces, those aims are going to be my guide. Es decir, I have per week or the whole month, main aim for the month or the whole unit. In here. I have how many lessons or how many weeks? 1, 2, 3, 4. Week 1. Main aim. Week 5. Y lo puedo hacer así con post-its. Main name. Main name. Main aim. And main aim. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In here, for example, my main name would be, by the end of the week, students may be able to compare and contrast the place or the city where they live by using properly comparatives and superlatives and some adverbs of degree. By the end of the week, students may be able to describe their place where they live by using comparatives, superlatives, and adverbs of degree. In here, pues es vocabulary, no sé, by writing some, in here, no sé, they are going to write sentences. Oral and written, vamos a ponerle. Entonces, this is my week 1 main name. I'm going to do the same with the rest of the weeks. Ahora, in the week 1, one day, because I have 2 classes, I have the grammar. Entonces, in here, no sé, vamos a ponerle Tuesday. Test, vamos a usar, dijimos que test, teach, test, ¿no? To test, okay. By the end of this session, students will be able to use properly comparatives, porque aquí ya, you suppose that they already know it. In here, I'm just going to give feedback, entonces pues ya, they will. Properly, comparatives and superlatives to describe places. Ahí está. Entonces, this is for Tuesday. Pero I have two sessions. Entonces, for Thursday. Vamos a ver. Pues es vocabulary. Free time activities. Pues free time activities. Entonces, by the end of the week, of the session, students may be able to describe activities activities that can be done outdoors in the place they live by using adjectives, comparatives, and superlatives. This is the main name. But in here, because I have the T, the first T, vamos a ponerle activity 1, subsidiary aim. This activity 1 needs to have an objective directed to achieve this one. So the activity 2. So the activity 3. Depending on the number of activities, each activity I do is going to have a specific aim, but always, always, always in sequence. So when I achieve this, if I add activity 1, activity 2, and activity 3, I have the main name. And if I add Tuesday and Thursday, I have this aim. All of them are connected. And in here, I'm going to have my activities too. And this is going to be linked to this. So this, and this. So it's a web of activities. They are not spread activities. So this activity is related even to this one or to the other 3 I'm going to have here, because they are planned in order to achieve this one. So it's division. But what I need to do first to have very, very clear what I'm going to do. Okay? I don't know if in this way is even more lightning and clearer for you to understand how we are going to make this scheme work. This is the scheme work. To divide my main name in different sessions, which are going to have at the same time a main name. And this main name is going to have, depending on the sessions, I'm going to have a main name per session. And each activity is going to have, vamos a decirle, otro main name, but it's called subsidiary aim. Y así nos vamos. So probably you plan like this by using your colored post-its or in a notebook. Set your main name here and start connecting. If you do that, you won't lose the track. Así, for sure, garantizado. You can use a chronogram, or you can use a Gantt graphic organizer, or you can use a calendar and share that calendar with your students so they in advance know what they are going to do in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and week 5. And they will see that they don't have much time and they need to hurry up. Okay? Questions, comments? Is it clear now with this kind of graphic organizer? Anyway, I'm going to give you a photo of this. Yes or no? ¿Sí les gusta la idea? Yes? All right. Now, personally, observe your lesson plan. Don't annotate anything. Remember, it's reflection. Vamos a ponerle and reflect. Is my lesson plan part of a sequence? I have this unit. Are all the activities I'm proposing and presenting connected in a sequence? Can I make a scheme for the whole week? Maybe by using this one. Ahí está, la week, day 1, day 2, y the activities for this session. How would I structure the plan? I have this schema, or I have this one. Ah, ya le cerré. Bueno, la otra, la de la week. Y ya le cerré al mock. Ajá. Arrange the activities and plan them to make a week schedule. Observe your plan for probably the one that you are going to use this week. And try to check how you can organize it in order to have this sequence. And check your objectives. Remember the objectives. I remember creo que fue Miss Jessie, la que me dijo en la mañana. Es que to be observing my students, I need rubrics. ¿Y qué creen? Aquí están las rubrics. My objectives are my rubrics. For example, bien fácil. Even I can have my table in my notebook. Y ya nada más I change it. Y puedo poner que, por ejemplo, aquí sea entre Un 5 y un 6 de calificación. 5 or 6. 5 or 6. Ajá. It can be un 7 y un 8. Ok. Entonces yo pongo no sé. With my list, I have my list. Ajá. And I start checking, observing. Ay, pues no pudieron hacer los comparatives, superlatives. No, pues in general, my group is in process. Or in here, or if I have the opportunity of listening to them individually and check their work, asking them individually, I can notice if it is not, the knowledge is not there yet, they need more or practice, so they need another kind of presentation. If they are in the process, todavía they are still struggling, but they can. I'm capable, ya me puedo ir a otro tema. So in general, I can do it like this, and I can do it as group or individual. Y ya tengo formative y tengo summative. I use my standards as rubric. Even I have the evaluation for the week. So by the end of the week, after doing this, they are going to do this. So I'm going to plan as the final activity or the closing activity. They are going to have to write a description of their place, and they need to talk about it. I have my rubric, and I can evaluate individually. Entonces, there's no necessity for you to invent your rubrics. The aim is subsidiary aim. Is your standard. Entonces ya está la evaluación. At the moment you are doing your lesson plan, you have the evaluation. Because remember that the aim is the evidence if your students are doing it or not. And to be more precise, in here, this subsidiary aim can also be the rubric. So all the time you are evaluating your students, and of course you have evidence for grading. And in this case, it's easier for you the topic of evaluation. No, pero es que con mi coordinador me pide un examen. Aquí está, puede ser written. Y en el written, remember that you evaluate accuracy, which is grammar, vocabulary and spelling, you have, ¿qué más le quieren evaluar? O vocabulary, spelling, y no sé, punctuation, or the specific things you want them to learn and evaluate. And here you have 3 or 4. So you give them you can tell them capable, 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 o pueden ponerle numbers. 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 20. 20 divided by 2. Yo siempre les doy aquí, por ejemplo, 1, un punto, 2, 3, 4 y 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, in total 20. Hago la suma y lo divido entre 2. Ya es más fácil sacar el promedio. And they know exactly what you are looking for as part of this kind of activity. You are going to evaluate by using this. And I don't need to invent anything. Es todavía más fácil. So what I don't want you to do is to work extra, to see it in an easier way. Okay? So do you consider that this is going to be easier, and also the use of the subsidiary aims as a way to evaluate your students? Okay, excellent. So I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you the Jamboard, okay? Entonces, if there are no questions, tomorrow we are going to, bueno, esto ya lo hicimos. Tomorrow we are going to talk about use of supplementary material, types of materials we can use in order to support the process of learning. Not only the visual aids, the material is not only flashcards or PPT presentations. We have another kind of supplementary material. And for next class, I'm going to have a present for you. I have a nice present, so I think you will like it, okay? Entonces, try to come, all right? Entonces, let's check. Let's work with your mock test. I don't remember if you needed or if you were asked to solve an exercise. So we needed to check. Les dejé tarea, ya no me acuerdo. I think it was the exercise 2, no?
You told us exercise 3 and 6 in the evening
3
class.
and 6. Okay, 3 and 6. Entonces dice, si no, if you didn't do it, don't worry. Just check and observe, okay? Dice, for questions 8 to 13, read the text.
Sorry to interrupt. We have
Ajá.
already checked them.
Ah, es que el profe es de la tarde. Ah, si quiere, profe, me manda un mensajín. And I can give you the last answers. Ajá, entonces, ¿cuáles dejé a ustedes los de la mañana? In the morning.
We didn't
No?
have anything. We
No?
did in class 3 and 6, and
Okay,
we have
entonces,
already checked them.
okay, entonces we are going to do the number 2, okay? Dice, match the underlined examples in the text with the grammatical terms listed A to H. Remember in module 2, in module 1, we saw these elements of grammar, okay? It says, conjunction, preposition, adverb, superlative, adjective, object, pronoun, demonstrative adjective, possessive adjective, and demonstrative pronoun, okay? And we have the text, and you need to match, okay? Aquí también tengo un papelito. We are going to do.
Miss, isn't that model 1?
Yo creo que sí. Sí, module 1. No. Gracias. Aquí está. Sí, porque estoy viendo aquí main names. El 2 es de main names. Aquí está. Dice, match activities for each teaching writing with the main teaching focuses. Dice, for questions, for questions 1 to 6, match activities for the teaching writing with the aim teaching focuses listed A to G. Cohesive devices, lexical range. También it also comes from module 1. Accurate letter formation, register, narrative skills, dialogue writing or summarizing, okay? And we are going to do this one. They are 6. I'm going to give you 6 minutes, okay? And then we are going to check. Ready? Okay, a ver, let's check. If not, don't worry. This is practice. Okay, entonces, learners write the key points of an article and they read in class using no more than 50 words. Its lexical range. I'm sorry, summarizing. The number one is summarizing. Dice, let learners write the key points of an article they read in class using no more than 50 words, okay? Entonces, if they are doing this summary, what reading sub-skill do you remember or do you consider we are practicing here?
Is it scanning?
Summary. I read and I repeat what the text is about. Así me voy a ir cuando tengan su examen, les voy a estar haciendo así. They are reading for?
To understand the whole, I forgot that.
General.
The general idea or the...
Bingo. Yes, they are reading for general idea because they are summarizing. Yes?
Okay.
Excellent, excellent, very good. Learners copy and handwritten text, trying to make it look as similar to the original as possible.
Letter F.
No.
No.
No, teacher. Learners copy a handwritten text. Se las doy escrita a mano.
Register.
Trying to make it look as similar as the original one.
It's C,
Sorry?
letter C.
Exactly. Letter formation. Well, no, probably because at your level you don't do that. But if I tell you, like this, they need to copy the traces. Probably this is for children. And remember that TKT is not all, is for teachers from basic education to higher education, okay? Keep that in mind. Excellent.
Could
So
you repeat
letter
the correct one, please?
C, letter C. Accurate letter formation.
Thank you.
Porque tienen que copiar exactamente la letra as it is written, okay? All right. Learners chooses. Ay, ayúdenme con su micro, porfa. Ahí está. Listo. Learners choose words and expressions like however, in addition, and despite from a list of options to fill in the gaps in a text.
Letter B.
B,
A.
Cohesive devices, because they are going to give cohesion and coherence to the text. Excellent, very good. Learners replace a number of uses of nice and good with more interesting adjectives.
B.
Sorry?
B, lexical range.
Ajá, letter B. B as baby, lexical range. Ajá. How can we do, or what are we suggested to do when we are introducing new vocabulary? Do you remember from module 1 that we need to teach, bueno, así,
We need to
ideally,
give like different synonyms, antonyms, and all that
excellent,
stuff.
super bien, ajá, ajá, very good, fantastic, excellent. Learners discuss how to make a story more interesting by including interesting characters.
Narrative
Letter E.
skills.
A ver, vamos con el profe primero. No sé
Okay.
quién habló primero.
Don't worry. Letter E.
Letter E,
It's the same one.
dialogue. Ah, ¿sí es la misma?
Yeah, narrative skills.
Sí, Miss, tiene la misma.
Yes, narrative skills. Yes, it's the same.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. Narrative skills, excellent. Ajá. Luego, number 6, learners discuss the differences between writing a letter to a friend and to a stranger.
Register.
Register.
Register. Very good. Okay, entonces I repeat. 1, garden. 2, cookie. See cookie. 3, apple. 4, baby. 5, elephant. And 6, the dinosaur. Okay? Excellent. Easy or difficult? Vamos calentando. Yes? Ok, ahora quiero checar con ustedes. We already have 3, me dicen sí, 4, 3, 4 ya lo hicimos.
No, only 3 and 6.
3 and 6, ok, entonces 3 and 6. Entonces vamos con el 4. Read the 7 stages of an integrated skills lesson and complete each statement about the aims of each state by choosing the correct option A, B, or C. Entonces tienen stage 1, word power. You have the argument, embarrass, fight, jealousy, tease. The main name of stage 1 is 2, and you have option A, B, or C. And you go like that, okay? Entonces tienen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. Entonces I'm going to give you 7 minutes, okay? All right.
Teacher, is there an attendance list for this class?
Sorry?
Is there an attendance list for this class?
No, not yet. I haven't uploaded yet, but I
Okay.
will let you know in the chat, okay?
Thank you.
Ready? I think I gave you more than 7 minutes. If not, let's do it together, okay? Let's analyze. Fíjense. Are all the stages in this lesson in order? Yes or no? Or
I
they are
believe they
mixed?
are.
Yes, they are. Okay. So they are in a sequencing order. Entonces, first I have something called word power. Argument, embarrass, fight, jealousy, and tease. What is the main topic of the whole lesson? What is the context of this lesson? The topic?
Teenagers and conflicts related to them.
Exactly, very good. Entonces, this stage 1 can be like the
Leading.
como leading, part of the leading, exactly. Entonces, aquí my objective is introduce key themes for the unit, present a set of proper nouns, or to review structures from the previous knowledge, from the previous unit.
A.
Exactly, letter A, introduce key themes for the unit because it's the leading. Perfect. Number 2, what problems can teenagers face because of parents, other people at school, brothers, sisters, and friends? The main aim of stage 2 is to remind learners of structures they will need for the activity, assess learners' own experiences, or stimulate learners' interest in the topic.
I put B, but I'm not sure.
Why not, Miss? Siga sus
Because it says
instintos.
assess.
Ajá.
So
And do we assess learners' experiences?
no. So it sounds like it's true, but I'm not sure. I wrote that, but when I read it again, I'm pretty sure it's C.
Exactly. Ajá. Porque we don't assess the experiences. Ay, no, tú estás mal porque no has vivido esto. No, tú estás peor porque tampoco. Is stimulating the learners. Espérenme. The learners. Ay, espérenme, déjame quitar esto. The learners, stimulate learners' interest in the topic. Muy bien. Exacto. Ahora dice. Read the article, then find the following words and phrases and underline them. Find the following words and underline them. Can you work out what they mean? What words? Argument, embarrass, fight, jealousy, tease. Okay? And figure out, o sea, infer the meaning. Focus on the layout of a text, practice the language of giving opinions, or predict the content of a text. Ah, no, espérenme, ya lo leí mal. Dice, look at the title and subtitle of the article you are going to read about a service for teenagers. What do you think this new service does? Ahora sí.
I think it's letter C, predict the content of a text.
Excellent, very good. Fantastic. Letter C. Ahora sí, the words, underline them and infer the meaning. They don't know the words, and because of the context, they deduce, they infer the meaning.
It's A.
Exactly. Practice strategies for dealing with unfamiliar words. Very good. Number 18, Islam. Find words or phrases in the text which have a similar meaning to use words or phrases. Entonces they are going to look for synonyms. Encourage peer correction. Bring learners' attention to useful new words in the text. Or practice using the new words from the text.
Repeat B.
B. Bring learners' attention to useful new words. Because in the previous activities they were working with unfamiliar words. New words in the text, okay? Excellent. 19. Luego, look back at the article and find an example of present simple in question and simple past. What reading sub-skill they are practicing here? If they are going to read and underline.
I wrote C.
You wrote C. So you are focusing on the grammar. No, you are not highlighting some unusual structures. No, porque ya lo saben. Introduce, pues no. Because even you are indicating what they are just going to recognize, no? What is the reading sub-skill I use for identifying specific information? Ya se los dije. Reading for specific information, no? All right. The main name of stage number 7 is use the words in the box in correct form to complete the following sentences. The girl was teased by older child. It was the most embarrassed moment of my life. Focus on accuracy, personalized target language, or check comprehension.
B.
Sorry?
B. B as in boy.
B as boy. Are they personalizing the language? They are talking about their own experience. They are completing a sentence.
So it's C. Check comprehension.
Tampoco.
I have A.
A, focus on accuracy.
Why?
Aquí, because the purpose of the exercise is practicing the grammar. The girl was teased by an older child. It was the most embarrassing moment of my life.
Yeah, that's true.
Present simple and simple past. Entonces aquí lo que estoy buscando es que by using these words los conjuguen en el tiempo específico que convenga según el contexto. Aquí me estoy refiriendo a que se enfoquen en la gramática. No estoy checando comprensión porque no están diciendo sí, no, true or false. Y acuérdense que personalized target language es cuando hay, by using the grammar or the vocabulary, I'm able to talk about my personal experience Okay? I think that with this exercise, así como los main aims y los subsidiary aims are more clear. Yes or no?
Could you repeat the correct one for question 18, please?
A ver, I repeat all, okay? 14, a apple. 15, C cookie. 16, C cookie. 18, a apple. 17, a apple. 18, B baby. 19, C cookie. Y 20, a apple. A, C, C, A, B, C, A. All right. La 6 ya lo hicimos. La 7 ya lo hicimos. No. Les voy a pedir por favor que hagan de tarea la 7. Okay, aquí lo voy a anotar. Página 7. Y la 8, que es de un listening. Igual es de los objectives. Y ya los demás son del material que vamos a ver mañana. Entonces, páginas 7 y 8 de tarea. Si pueden, si no nada más léanlo y obsérvenlo. Y mañana igual lo hacemos juntos, ¿ok? Y lo analizamos juntos, ¿les parece? Ok, pues espero, I really hope that you enjoyed the lesson, that you learned something new, that you have found like the correct order and the importance of main aims and subsidiary aims at the moment we are planning. That is essential and that is really, really important, okay? Anyway, I'm going to upload the attendance list. I'm going to upload the Jamboard. I'm going to upload the video. And pues I don't know what else. And tomorrow I have a special gift for you. Okay? Entonces I'm going to stop the recording. Y